What's going on, guys? 2015 F150 3.5 Ecoboost. As you've heard before, today I'll be going over how to install the AEM methanol, water methanol injection kit. This is the product number. I'm just going to run through what the manual says, and I will show you on my truck how I did it. This is a great kit. It's cheaper than the Snow Performance. You know, these were my options, AEM or Snow Performance. I went with this kit because it was recommended by my tuner, MPT. Pretty standard, simple install, and I like it because it's a little more lower profile. I know the Snow Performance comes with a little bit more options, but to me it's not needed, and I wanted to keep it as concealed as possible. This comes with a 1 gallon tank. Gives you a nice diagram of how it should look. The install parts list. We'll just run through here the checklist, and I'll just show you on the truck as we go down. Install tank. Install pump. So I'll go back here. There's my tank and pump. Things you need to know is mount the pump below the tank, and they say mount the tank below the injection point, but that's pretty much impossible. My injection point was about 3 feet off the ground, and unless you're mounting it in the engine bay or in the cab, you probably cannot achieve that. So I'm going to show you what you can purchase to allow you to mount your tank wherever you want, pretty much. So the wires back here, I still got to conceal it to make it look good, but you got your power and ground for the pump, and you got your wires there for your level sensor. This is how I mounted my tank. You guys can do it however you want. I just had a couple brackets laying around, screwed it to the bed frame there, and a bracket right there. It's really solid, not going anywhere. Really sturdy. Same thing with the pump. That's just where I did it. You guys can feel free to do it however you want it. I like it like this because it keeps it out of the way. It's pretty much in line with the wheel well, or sits behind it, so I can still utilize my truck for, you know, loading material, sheets of plywood or whatever. It's not going to hit my tank or pump. So, tank and pump, pump below the tank. And what you got to do here is order the Snow Performance solenoid. I think it was like 30 bucks, 30, 40 bucks. And what this does, it'll control the flow. So whenever, you know, whenever it's sensing that you need your methanol, this will open up, and this will allow it from siphoning into your engine when you're not calling for it. So you need to purchase this if you cannot find a location to mount your tank below the injection point. And even if, I still recommend buying this because it's just a, you know, just an extra step into not allowing your methanol to seep into your engine when you're not using it. Install the controller. I got my controller located in my glove box. That's where I recommend installing it. This is just a wire to it and forget about it. You'll set it up, your tuner will set it up, and forget about it. It comes with an LED light right here, is where I put mine next to my boost gauge, and this LED light will tell you everything you need to know. The controller will blink, you know, once if your fluid level is low, so you don't have to ever look at the controller itself. This LED, which goes to your controller, will tell you everything you need to know. So I recommend just throwing it in the glove box right there. Wiring. I got there's a boost hose hooked up to this controller, and what I did is, if you saw my other video on my boost gauge, I already have a hose running to this. So what I did is, just about 4 inches behind this, I teed it and ran it over to my controller. So it's using the same boost reference as my gauge. Wiring. You guys can wire it however you want. This is the route that If you saw my audio system install, I pointed out to the grommet location right behind here. So I came through the firewall through there with all my wiring. The kit shows you a nice diagram of where all the wires go to. The only thing that I will mention is that do not use the wiring diagram for the solenoid that Snow supplies. Use the one for on the AEM kit. And what this is, it's a brown with a white wire, goes to the controller, and that will provide the ground, and the other wire goes to switched power. I think it was fuse 23 is where the switch power. You can reference my audio install video. I called out the number of fuse that I used. I think it was 23. Anyway, switch power. You need to run switch power to that, and then this brown wire that goes to the controller will provide the ground to operate this solenoid. I'll show you how I routed everything. Oh, man. Underneath here, you can see these bed supports, and there's a small cavity that runs all the way down. So starting right there and running all the way down, Ford specifically left that cavity there for installing meth kits in their Ecoboost trucks. So we lucked out with that, and it provides a really high and tight route to run everything. Well protected. As it turns up here, I ran it above that, zip tie where you can, and then it goes into the bed there. So I recommend taking the same route, because that's just a great location to run all your wiring. Next step, we got our controller installed, flush the tank. That was the only thing that I really didn't like on the kit is when I got the tank, when they installed this level sensor, you can see this plastic is just a little rough in here, and on the inside there was a ton of just plastic shavings all around this, and it's really hard to reach in there and get it. I think they could have done a better job installing the level sensor on my tank, but make sure you reach in there and try to scrape those shavings out and flush them out. You don't want that going through your system. So there's a test button on the controller. Before you install your nozzle, just run the hose out to a bucket or on the floor and hit that test button a couple times, and it'll, one, make sure your system works, and two, flush out all the crap in your tank. Connect the nozzle to the system. You need to purchase one of these 1/8 by 27 NPT. Comes with a drill bit and a tap. I bought this off of Amazon. That's what you need to mount your nozzle into your charge pipe, and I recommend doing about 8 inches. You can see it down there is where I mounted my nozzle. See if I can get it right there. So there's my charge pipe, there's my nozzle down there, about 8 inches down from your throttle body there. And you want to mount it in front of the throttle body, not behind the throttle body like some do, because that will just create just a huge vacuum if you mount it behind the throttle body. So definitely in front of the throttle body, about 8 inches down on your charge pipe. System check, we did that. Nozzle, tune, engine, okay? You're going to need to tune the engine. NPT is who's tuning mine. And after this, I'll be going to them to get dyno tuned. And Snow Performance Boost Juice. Don't use this shit. It's crap. 50/50 is junk. Not going to gain anything with that. I wasted my money on it. Buy methanol and distilled water and mix it yourself. You're going to want a 70-30 mix. So stay tuned. We're going to get it dynoed and I'll show you the results.